One of the most annoying things in culture is the, quote, banned books brigade. And I'm not talking about my article here because Matt Walsh actually has a book that's banned. I'm talking about the Barnes & Noble crew. You see it if you ever walk into a bookstore. They have this shelf that says banned books. Read these banned books. And then they, of course, have piles of them readily available for you to buy. And you kind of look at that and you go, wait a minute, banned? How this doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't. It's actually just a promotional tool used by mainstream publishing. They'll get something like they'll have a graphic, depiction of some degenerate stuff, and I'm just being careful on YouTube, and it'll be literally graphic. And they will have that, and then they try to put it in like a kindergarten through fifth grade library, and the librarian will be like, no, I don't think we're going to put that in here. And then they'll go, it's a banned book, buy it today. That's how they act. And so Matt Walsh came out with a children's book making fun of transgender ideology, and because of that, it is actually banned, and that's kind of how it works. Now, I've been covering this for a while. I've been a banned author since 2018. The World Science Fiction Convention banned me from their convention, even though I had just come out with 3 books in the genre. I was building a profile, but people are loving my books. I've been a full-time author. I actually sell better than most people who actually speak at those conventions by far. And that started a pattern of these sort of network conventions sort of banning me. And of course, mainstream publishing has me blacklisted. It's been absolutely crazy. So this is the spot to be if you want different kind of content. I have a little bit of a different philosophy, and I'll tell you about that in just a minute. So hit the like and subscribe button. Where Matt Walsh and people who are kind of influencers first, I would say, often make political statements and then kind of put a coding on it that's like a fiction book and all that, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. They're allowed to do what they want to make. I don't really do that. I'm actually a fiction writer first, and so I write fun stories. I've got 20-plus novels. I've got 13-plus graphic novels, and they're not like, I identify as a walrus. I don't do that kind of thing. I just write like fun action-adventure fiction because I believe that conservatives are needed in this space and Christians are needed in this space, and we need to push back and actually own the culture. And actually, that's how we're going to build the culture a lot better. Now, it is often like hitting your head against a brick wall trying to talk about this stuff. And I definitely could grow faster if I just focused on like regular politics, and I understand that. But this is my mission, and this is what my calling is in life. So I'd like you to check it out. One of my books is here. It's called The Adventures of Baron von Monocle. This is my most successful series. I've sold about 30,000 copies of this book right here for Steam and Country, thanks to, of course, viewers like you. And so this is an airship crew that adventures. They fight monsters in their own fantasy land. It's got a benevolent monarch. So it's got, it's got themes of patriotism. It's got themes of family. It's got good, wholesome things in it. And, of course, doesn't have any of the weird stuff in it that you will find in all the bookstores. If you don't know this, like, if you look in the fantasy sections these days, it's crazy. So I'm trying to just do something a little different on my own. And this is available on ebook, print, and audio in the description below. I really appreciate you guys for checking it out and reading. Thanks so much, guys, and for supporting us. If you want to grab the whole series, it really builds up nicely, and I appreciate you being there. It's good for all ages. Adults enjoy it. Teens love it, so you can give this as a gift as well. All right, thank you. Over the weekend, Matt Walsh revealed his children's book has been banned from several places in a thread on X, highlighting the left's hypocrisy about banned material. As I said at the opening of this video, you go into Barnes & Noble, they literally have a banned books table, and none of them are banned. They're all major commercial successes that are put out and, of course, used as marketing by the publishing industry, even though they're not really banned. So this is what he posted to X as a thread. The left spent years screaming conservatives are book banners, wanting to remove porn from school libraries. Now they're banning actual children's book, and it's mine, and this is called Johnny the Walrus right here. Johnny the Walrus has been banned, declared a hostile expression of animus. By an Oregon Education Service District. The licensed social worker, Rod Theus, displayed it in his office and was threatened with termination over having his book. This is freaking crazy. And so here it is. While the school staff plaster their offices and classrooms with political slogans, sexual content, pro-trans messaging, Theus added a personal touch to his office, a copy of Johnny the Walrus right there. They launched a full-blown bias incident investigation into him on this. The district says my story about a little boy, Johnny, pretending to be a walrus constitutes a hostile expression of animus towards students' quote, actual perceived gender identity. Perceived gender identity. Okay. Just unpacking that there. Theus was ordered to remove it or face termination. Here's some of the lawsuit where they actually were going to fire him over this. Worse still, ADF Legal says they threatened him with mandatory re-education, a course called Making Schools Safe and Inclusive for Transgender Students. What's the first lesson? That Johnny is an actual walrus? To be clear, no student or parent ever complained about Johnny the Walrus, nor would they have reason to. But IMESD apparently still considers the mere presence of this book to be a, quote, bias incident. Look at the way they phrase these things. Meanwhile, here's what ADFL Legal says the school is allowing. Books featuring violence, suicide, drug abuse, domestic abuse, and sexual content, all available to kids. But Johnny the Walrus, that's where the line must be drawn. Let's not gloss over the seriousness of this list. They didn't just pull terms like gore out of nowhere. Author Kaylin Bayron, to her credit, admits and actively warns about this content in her book, as you can see right here. Content warning and resources as she's got in her book. Beyond their sexual and violent book collections, they say school staff displays political messaging, including pro-Obama slogans, pride flags, BLM propaganda, and the idea that schools should be able to secretly trans kids behind parents' backs. School and education service districts aren't faceless entities. They're public officials who answer to taxpayers. Representing Theus is now suing the IMSED board, Superintendent Mark Mulville, and Superintendent and HR Director Amy Van Nice right here. Now, this poor guy, who, of course, is getting targeted over this, he just, completely destroyed his career in order to do this. He has to take a huge risk in order to do this, has to go way out there. And this is what happens. And so when I got banned from that first convention, it was the same thing. And you've seen recently, they attacked Camelot 331 and banned him from a recent convention. He actually was big enough to get restitution for that. I was a nobody at the time. I had no following. And I had very little restitution. To fight it, I knew that going out there and talking about it and being a part of this was going to end my career in publishing. And that's exactly what you have to face as a person who's actually standing up for this stuff against this leftist establishment at this point. It's a big deal because, you don't understand how big it is to lose your career, to lose everything you've been working towards and all that, and say, you know what, I'm going to have to take this leap and see if I can make this work outside of this just so I can make it safe for other people. And so, of course, I did sue them, and I went for it, and I won. They libeled me to try to ban me from their convention and all that. And, of course, it didn't, change the libel or anything like that. Mainstream publishing voices their hatred towards me regularly. They, of course, have done so over the years. They've tried to steer people away from my books, which, it's just an anti-competitive practice is what it comes down to at the end of the day. And that's what it is. They don't want any competition for their leftist ideology because they know that in the marketplace of ideas, if everything was free and fair, we have the talent here. We have the smarts here. We have the truth here. And so because of that, we're going to win. And that's why they have to try to silence it at every turn. And that's exactly what's going on here. So good on this guy for doing this. Superintendent Mark Mulville is one of those officials accusing Theus of bias, but he doesn't appear to have a Facebook, but his wife does. Might it be possible he shares her worldview? And this is her wife with Biden Harris, the Trevor Project, which is a transgender reading challenge. Ridiculous stuff right there. As for Assistant Superintendent Amy Van Nice, we need not track down her social media. Her idiocy was on full display. When interrogating Theus, she asked, why can't Johnny be a walrus? These people are shaping the education of 20,000 children in Oregon. Oh my gosh. If a cartoon boy pretending to be a walrus is a threat to you and your worldview, maybe the problem isn't my book. Maybe the problem is that your ideology can't survive even with a drop of truth, humor, or dissent, and that's exactly why Johnny the Walrus must be read. And that's exactly what we're saying. We do need to build conservatism in the arts. We do need to change these things right now. And I hope Matt Walsh makes $1 gazillion on this. And, this is the one thing. Conservative media never just picks up books as well. And conservative media is part of the problem on this stuff. If you look at the way that NPR and the New York Times and all that makes their book lists and all this and promotes all of these things over and over and over again, they build up people as the authorities in these genres. Well, I've just had to scrape and claw to build myself up as the authority in science fiction and fantasy, and I'm seen as that for the most part. I have the most read blog in the genre out of anybody out there now. And it is really, really tough out there because the conservative media does not get behind this. As much as I appreciate Matt Walsh, I've not had that outlet ever reach out to me for an interview, anything like that. And we're covering this here. So this needs to change about our side of the culture as well. We need to build networks together, guys, and we need to stop this this sort of like gotcha game on the right where it's like we better align 100% with things, because the left doesn't do this to each other so much, and this is why they're able to be organized and actually get going somewhere. What we need to do is organize as well. We need to push just, of course, conservative authors and the like, and actually build together, and we will have a much better and cleaner society as a result. Really appreciate you guys being here. This was definitely worth covering and checking out. Let me know what you think about Matt Walsh's banning and, of course, somebody getting fired over his book. Absolutely crazy. Please hit the like and subscribe button and check out my books, guys, if you are so inclined. They're in the description below. Appreciate everybody who supports the channel. We'll be back soon.